welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. Matthew 8 tells of Jesus and the centurion. Jesus was entered into Capernaum. There came unto him a centurion, saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home, sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Jesus saith, I'll come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof. Speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. The story centers on three things: the man and his faith, Christ's remarks about the faith, and the answer to the faith. As to the first, the man was a heathen and a Gentile. Herod had a little army, officered by Romans, of whom probably he was one. The features of his character, shown in the story, paint a very lovable picture of a much more tender heart than might have been supposed to beat under the armor of a mercenary soldier sent to overawe a sullen people. He loveth our nation, said the Jewish elders, not because they like Roman troopers, but because of what they knew him to be. He seems to have become tired of the hollowness of heathenism and to have been groping for the light. His military service brought him into contact with Judaism's belief in one God, and his heart's door swung open. He also had a beautiful human kindness, which neither the rough military life nor the unprincipled slavery which was rampant during his time had been able to sour. He was tenderly anxious about his servant who was dear to him. Then there is his crowning beauty, the lowliness of spirit which his military rank had not puffed up. I'm not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof. He did not ask Christ to do anything. He simply spread the trouble before him in the confidence that his pitying love lies so near the surface that it was sure to flow forth even at that light touch. Christ's answer, I will come and heal him, throbs with the consciousness of power and is gentle with tenderness, quick to interpret unspoken wishes. Yet the centurion dared to contradict the Lord, recognizing his inferior position and that the working power of Christ has not bound by distance. By paralleling his authority over his soldiers to that of Christ over everything, he took beautiful advantage of the opportunity Jesus had created for him to pour out the precious ointment of his fragrant faith on Christ. That faith is worth rejoicing in us. He spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. Diseases fled at his word. By the breath of his mouth he slew these enemies of men. He rebuked the storm, and the howling of the wind, and the dashing of the waves were less loud than his calm voice. He flung a word into the depths of the grave, strangely heard by the dull, cold ear of death, and Lazarus, dazzled, stumbled out into the light. Who is this that commands the waves and the seas and the sicknesses, and they obey him? May God grant that you and I, in these days of hesitation, when many a truth is clouded by doubt, be able to answer, This is God manifest in the flesh. Jesus accepted the centurion's estimate of him as he always accepts the highest place offered him. No one ever brought to him a trust which he called excessive or misdirected. And he marveled. Twice we read in the Bible that Jesus wondered, once at this heathen's faith, so strong, yet with so few advantages of culture, once at Jewish unbelief, so feeble and fruitless after so much expenditure of patience and care. Notice his sad, astonished words, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. The one fruit he desired was trust in him. That is what he is seeking for in us, not lives of profession, not orthodoxy of dogma, not even fruits in work, thought though they have their place. But before all this, and the source of all that is good in any of them, he wants to find in our hearts the child's trust that casts itself wholly on his omnipotent word, and is sure of an answer. And so he told the centurion, Go thy way, as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. He heals at a distance, and he shapes his gift to the man's desire. In just that way, he puts the key to the treasure house into our hands and says, Go in and take as much as you like. Have you talked to him today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at GodsFiveMinutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.